In this video, we will learn about functions. So I will explain what are functions, then I'll explain what is parameter passing and what are the different methods of passing parameters like pass by value, pass by address, and pass by reference. In C language, we have only pass by value and pass by address, but in C++, we also have pass by reference. So I will take some simple example and explain all these parameter passing. So let us start with functions. What are functions? Function is a piece of code which performs a specific task. We have already studied about structures. In structure, I said that structure is a group of related data members. Now, function is a group of related instructions which perform a specific task. So, grouping data is a structure. Grouping instructions is a function. Functions are called as modules or procedures. See, instead of writing a single main program, writing everything inside the main function, we can break the main function into small manageable size pieces and we can separate the repeating task or smaller task. For example, if I am writing one program, so everything is going to be inside main function. So let us say these are the instructions in main functions. I may be writing thousands of lines of code inside the main function. So this is not a good style of programming, writing all the lines inside single main function. It will be very huge to manage and it's very difficult to develop. So if we find that this program can be broken down into smaller tasks, we can break them in the form of functions. Like suppose first function, function 1, it may perform some task, and another function, function 2, and this is performing some task, and similarly function 3 I can have and performing some task. So I can break this larger task into smaller simple tasks and then I can use them all together inside the main function. Suppose here I have main function, then inside the main function I can call these functions. So function 1 and function 2, function 3. So for example, I have taken these three functions. For example, I am explaining like this. So here you can see that if I combine all together, everything is there inside the main function. Main function is utilizing these function. So that will sum up to a similar program. If we follow this style of programming is called as monolithic programming, right? Everything inside a single body. So this is monolithic programming. This is monolithic programming. Now, breaking a program into smaller pieces of functions and using those functions inside the main function, that is integrating them all together, this is another style of programming. This is called as modular programming or procedural programming. It's modular programming or procedural programming. So this style of programming is called as modular or procedural programming. So this is easy for developing. You can break the program into smaller tasks and you can focus on smaller tasks and finish them and make them perfect. It's easy for one single individual to develop the application. Even you can break this software project into a team of programmers. Now, if you follow this style, then only one person has to develop this one. If you follow this style of programming, a group of programmers can develop a single application. Like some people are developing some function, like one person is developing this one, second person, third person, and one of the person who's a team leader can integrate all of them inside the main function. So this style of programming has increased productivity and also reusability. Like if suppose I need function one more time, so I can call it again. So instead of writing the same code again, like suppose these three lines are performing some task and these three lines are performing the same task. So instead of writing it two times, I can write the function one time and I can use it two times. So this is reusability. And the same function can be used in other software project also. So you can put the group of functions together in a library also. So these are the benefits of functions, just to name few. So C language is a procedural or modular programming language. So this is the topmost feature supported by C programming, which is also there in C++ also. C++ is beyond this one. C++ follows object orientation, right? Where you group the related functions together and put them in a single class. So we will learn about it in the coming videos. So right now, let us focus on modular programming. So we can break a program into functions. Now, let us write a simple example function and learn how we can separate the task from the main function and what are parameters. I have a small function, example function. I'll explain something about this. See, here is a main function. From here to here is a main function. Now, in this, I am performing a very simple task, that is, I want to add two numbers. So, I have three variables, x, y, z, and x and y are having some values. Then, I want to add these two values. So, even main function, I can add it. Just I have to say x plus y. But I prefer, instead of adding inside the main function, let it be done by some other function. So, for adding two numbers, I am writing a function. Right? So as I said that instead of writing everything inside main function, you can separate the logic and write functions for performing smaller tasks. So we are looking at addition function. So this is an add function which will add two numbers and returns the addition or the sum of two numbers. So let us see how this function is. See, this function is taking two values a and b, and locally it is having its own variable c, then adding these two values and storing the result in c, and it will return the result, right? So it will take two values. This function needs two parameters. It will add them and returns the result c. So if we see in the main function, back to the main function, here I am calling add function. This is a function call, and I am passing two parameters x and y. These values will go into a and b. It will add them and return the result. That result will come into this z, and then it will print this value z. So as per this example, it will print the value 15, right? Now let us learn some terminology. See, this is the prototype of a function or header of a function. Prototype, this is called as prototype, or it is called as signature of a function, right? And this is a declaration of a function. Then this body is there. This is called as definition of a function or elaboration of a function. So this is declaration and definition of a function, and this is function call. We are calling the function. Now, what are parameters? See, here we are passing these two values x and y to this function, which is taking two parameters. So these parameters, the one which we are passing, these are called as actual parameters. These are called as actual parameters. And these parameters which are taken by this function, these are called as formal parameters. So these are formal parameters. Now let us understand the working once again. This is a main function. Program starts from here. Starting point of a program. Three variables are declared. Values are assigned. Function is called. So the control goes here. And when the control is transferred, the values of actual parameters are copied in formal parameters. So x value, that is 10, is copied in A, and 5, that is y value, is copied in B. Then in C, the addition of the values is done. This is 15, and 15 is returned. And when the function returns, it will come back to the line from where it was called. So the result of the function is 15. So this becomes 15, and that 15 is assigned to z. So z becomes 15, and the value is printed. So this is the working. So I have explained you the parameters and have explained you the working. Now let us see how it works inside the main memory. Inside the main memory, this is the code section area. Inside the code section, this is the function add, and this is the machine code of that add function, and this is the main function. This is the machine code of the main function, right? So let us see in detail how the program works and how the functions are utilized. Now the program starts from here. First of all, three variables are declared. So inside the stack, that is inside the activation record of main function, three variables are created, that are x and y and z. Three variables are created. Then first variable assigned with value 10 and second with 5. So this is 10 and this is 5. Then function add is called. Once the function add is called, its own activation record or stack frame is created, and it will have its own variables that are A, B, and C. These two parameters and local variable. Now the value of x, that is 10, is passed here, and the value of y, that is passed here. Then it will add these two numbers, so the result is 15. Now next line is returning. So when it is returning, the value of that C is copied in Z, because here in this line you can see it is copied in Z. Then once the function ends, it will come out and return back to this line. So this activation record is deleted. See, it is just like this. From here, if you see, suppose from here the main function has called add function. So the control goes to add function. And when it's executed, when it finishes, this activation record is deleted and the control come back to the main function here. Then it will print this one. So suppose those lines are for printing. So it will print this value 15. So this is how it happens inside the main memory when you are writing the function. So the benefit of function is that the function will have its own activation record. Its separate set of variables will be there inside the memory, and when it is called, they are created. When it is destroyed, when that function terminates, they are destroyed. And one more point about this one is, this function cannot access the variables of main, and main cannot access the variables of add function, right? One function cannot access the variables of another function. It means that I cannot use xyz here inside add function because they belong to main function, and I cannot use abc inside main function because they belongs to add function. So that's it. This is about the function. Let us look at the things once again quickly. See, I have shown you how to define a function. This is the prototype of a function and this is the body of a function. These are the parameters. They are called as formal parameters, and this is the function call. These are actual parameters, right? That is, the one who is calling, its parameters are actual parameters. And how the function calls are made, this is there inside the memory. So that's all. Now in the next video, I will explain parameter passing methods. So the three methods, we will see them together by taking some simple example.